The very best debugging advice that I ever got came from a story about a man who chipped his tooth on a toilet seat. I'll get to more about that after we look at this. This is my latest pile of data. It's about 100 pages of a century-old court case. Grandpa Carver gave witness testimony in here, and I want the whole file because you never know what little secrets might be hiding scribbled in an address out in the margin or something, the parts that nobody reads. But these pages are extra hard to read. Even after manual adjustment, they're dim. The handwriting is all scribbly, and images are just clumsy to work with. So, can I turn this into text that's both legible and fast to search? I've heard that Google Gemini is getting really good at transcribing scanned text and handwriting, so I'm going to give it a try. 100 pages. So the temptation is to just drop a bunch of pages all at once and hope for the best. But I learned the hard way back in 1989 during an all-nighter that I'd rather forget. The big piles of data will just punish you if you don't test a small bit first. So I'm going to start with just Grandpa's testimony, and I'm going to see how it looks. Here I am in Gemini, but what shall I say to get it started? I'm going to upload just a few pages here, and let's type, "Please transcribe this," in this little chat box, just like I'm texting somebody. Simple enough. Let's see what happens. Okay, not bad. It's readable. But when I compare this transcription to the original, the errors just kind of start jumping out. Here, Grandpa clearly says well, and Gemini has decided that it's woll, W-O-L-L. And here it's just skipping some words completely, just pretending they don't exist, which I guess is better than making up fake words. But if I'm searching this document later, I need the words to actually be there. So let's tell it to add question marks when it can't make something out. Kind of like the way traditional OCR does. That way I'll know when it doesn't understand a letter, and hopefully it won't make anything up. That's called hallucinating, when it makes things up. What if I ask it to look more closely? Like, look again and don't read it back to me until you're really sure about what it says. So I read somewhere that telling it to be very confident before returning anything might help. Okay, that's much better on the accuracy, but now, well, it's squishing everything into one paragraph. There's no line breaks. The original has line breaks. I need those because when this is finished, I'm going to compare these pages. I'm going to put the original on the left side of my screen and the transcription on the right side, and then I'll go line by line, checking things to make sure that they're correct. Now, this is the part where I used to just bang my head against the wall for hours, but Roger taught me a better approach. It was this hot morning in July, and I was up most of the night troubleshooting a report that somebody else wrote. My client had thousands of insurance claims, and each test run took about 20 minutes. And the client expected to see this report at our 1 p.m. meeting. So I drove on to work. My air conditioner had finally given up Atlanta in summer. It's like working inside of a wet sock, and every street is named Peachtree something, and none of them lead to anywhere cool. I went to the break room, and okay, the coffee there was free, but it was the kind that sat on the burner so long that it could strip paint. And so I filled up 2 mugs, and I walked them back to Roger's desk, and I set one down in front of him. And I said, "Good morning. Can I run a problem past you?" So he looked at my big pile of data and shook his head. "Wow, let's just look at one claim and test things out." So we pulled one claim out of the pile and made a new little test file with just that one claim. And that's when we discovered the story hidden in this database. In this liability claim, a restaurant customer visited the men's room, slipped in a stall, and chipped his tooth on the toilet seat. And then Roger said, "Wow, look at this expensive dental bill. Payout 1, payout 2, both payouts again. So the code is looping through here and adding these up twice. That's your issue. I didn't need to wait 20 minutes for the whole file to run over and over again. I just needed one claim, one test, one thorough look at what was happening, and also I needed to ask for help. And today I think I'm going to do that again, but this time instead of asking Roger, I'm going to ask Gemini. So let's go back to this chat box, and what shall I say? How about, tell me what my prompt should say so that you maintain the format of the original document. Don't make anything up, and, well, let's add the previous wording about looking closely, being certain, and including question marks. Okay, well, it uses a lot more official words than I did. Transcribe the attached document with absolute fidelity. And here's a new term I've been hearing a lot lately. It's called a quality gate. Before providing the final output, perform a second character by character pass to ensure no words were skipped or misread. Well, I wonder if this will work better. And I want to test these instructions. I think the best way to do that is to see what kind of pages I have and try out some different types. This will be my small test file. Here's a page with questions and answers, and here's one that is full of numbers. And definitely let's try something that has handwriting, because that's the real test, cursive handwriting. Yes, here we go. This is really pretty good. I'm glad Gemini was here to assist because Roger is probably still in Atlanta driving around on streets named after fruit. But you can see here now, I should be able to line these up side by side and compare them line by line. A lot of the words that were wrong at the beginning are correct now. Could start transcribing all 100 pages right now. But before I do, I want to think a little bit more. I want to think about exactly what I want Gemini to produce. What goes in the page titles? What about the file names? And do I want plain text or maybe markdown? I'm going to want to figure out how I plan to display these pages side by side on my screen. Like, what tool am I going to use before I go through and manually check everything and make my corrections? A lot has changed since 1989. I don't have to drink paint stripper coffee anymore, but I do still use Roger's trick of breaking the big piles into small pieces. And I still like the idea that a stack of boring paperwork may just be a hiding place for a good story, whether it's a century-old testimony from Grandpa or a guy in a restaurant slipping in a bathroom stall. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to think it through, and I'll come back another day. I'm Nancy at Legacy Carvers. Thanks for your time today. Check the show notes for links to other videos in this series, and I'll see you again soon.